Breaking news tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul. His attorney tells CNN that he is currently being processed. The charges are unclear as of this moment.
If you're a halfway intelligent person, when do you start questioning how lucky some keep getting?
Right.
Sean Diddy Combs, once celebrated as the king of hip-hop and a cultural legend, now faces one of the most heartbreaking and tumultuous periods of his life. His dramatic fall from grace has shocked both his fans and the public, but behind the media frenzy and courtroom battles lies a much darker story, one of a family torn apart by fear, betrayal, and deep emotional pain. As Diddy fights for his freedom inside the infamous Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, his loved ones are left to grapple with the aftermath, uncertain of how this trial will reshape their lives and whether the scars will ever fully heal.
So Diddy, if you're just joining us here, was just arrested and taken into federal custody in New York tonight. Sources tell TMZ Homeland Security swooped into a Midtown hotel late Monday where Diddy was staying, and they arrested him.
Diddy's daughters are said to be the most profoundly impacted by their father's arrest and time in prison. Close family sources reveal that they've been overwhelmed with emotion, breaking down several times as they come to terms with the harsh reality of his situation. Raised in luxury and shielded from life's toughest struggles, they now find themselves facing a nightmare they never imagined, witnessing their father, once a towering, larger-than-life figure, deteriorate before their eyes, becoming visibly thinner and grayer, has been nothing short of heartbreaking. At a recent court hearing, Diddy was seen mouthing "You okay?" to one of his sons, a moment that reportedly brought his daughters to tears. It was a painful reminder of just how fragile their once invincible father has become.
Incredible. And, it brings into context our whole system of innocent till proven guilty. Why is he not being given bond? And, we could debate that all day long. Of all people that's unlikely to flee or get away, well, he's got the resources to flee, but he's so recognizable. And isn't he innocent till proven guilty? Well, yeah, but, we have to recognize there are degrees of innocent till proven guilty.
Insiders reveal that Diddy's daughters are struggling to accept the harsh reality that their father, the man who once ruled the music industry and built an empire, now sits behind bars in one of the nation's most infamous detention centers. While the family's Manhattan representatives have remained tight-lipped, whispers from those close to the Combs inner circle suggest that the girls are not only devastated, but also deeply worried for their father's health and safety. In private, they've expressed growing concerns about the toll the immense stress is taking on him, fearing it could break him completely. These worries are far from baseless. Reports from inside the detention center paint a troubling picture of Diddy's life behind bars. The once powerful mogul has reportedly lost significant weight, and his health is rapidly deteriorating. Observers at his court appearances have noted his pale, gaunt appearance, adding to growing fears that prison life is taking a severe physical toll. But it's not just his physical decline that's raising alarms. Diddy has reportedly refused to eat the prison meals, fearing they could be tampered with or contaminated. This increasing paranoia has only heightened his family's anxiety as they try to reconcile the man they once saw as untouchable with the fragile, vulnerable figure he's become.
Legitimate concern. No judge wants to wake up and read the headlines the next day. Oh, they treated this guy special and they gave him bond, and now he's gone and he fled from justice. So that's what's in the back of most judges' minds. On the other hand, we deal with cases where clients have significant funds sometimes, and sometimes where there's money, you can craft a unique solution. Years ago, it was the ankle bracelet and the ankle monitor.
Diddy's entire family is reportedly in crisis, with tensions escalating as they deal with the fallout from his arrest. While some members are steadfast in their support, determined to protect his legacy and fight for his freedom, others are pulling away, apprehensive about the toll his legal battles might take on their own lives. Rumors of infighting have emerged, with some relatives allegedly already speculating about how his assets should be divided. If the worst happens, this discord has only deepened the emotional divide within the family, creating a rift that may be impossible to mend. One source close to the family described the situation as a complete mess, noting that Diddy's children, particularly his daughters, feel caught in the middle. They want to support their father, holding onto their belief in his innocence, yet they're struggling to reconcile the man they've always known. With the shocking allegations against him, the emotional toll has led to sleepless nights, tearful arguments, and a deep sense of doubt that has shaken them to their core. Compounding their distress is the brutal reality of Diddy's life in the Metropolitan Detention Center, a facility former inmates have called hell on earth, known for its violence, unsanitary conditions, and relentless psychological strain. Stories of inmate violence, power outages, and inadequate medical care have been widely reported. And Diddy's family is acutely aware of the dangers he faces every day, according to sources. His daughters are terrified that something might happen to him while he's inside, whether it's an act of violence or the long-term effects of the grueling conditions.
That with all the money he has and all the resources he has, they couldn't craft some solution that lets him be under some form of house arrest. And again, it sounds like special treatment, but the truth of the matter is, to incarcerate somebody like him is expensive to all of us. We're taxpayers, and he's got to have unique situations. You can't put him in general population where, everyone wants a piece of him and everyone wants to be his friend and everyone. So
the fear of poisoning, which has reportedly led Diddy to avoid prison meals, has only intensified his family's concerns, while some may dismiss his worries as paranoia. Those familiar with the detention center's reputation argue that his fears are far from unfounded. The facility has long been criticized for its lax security and the influence of outside connections, creating an environment where anything seems possible. Diddy's decision to stick to commissary snacks like chips and honey buns instead of the prepared meals has sparked heated debates within his family. Some see it as a necessary precaution, while others fear it's a sign that the stress is starting to take a toll on him. But it's not just the external threats that are tormenting Diddy's daughters. It's the thought of him enduring such deep isolation. The hip-hop mogul is reportedly being held in the Special Housing Unit, a section reserved for high-profile inmates. While it offers additional security, it also means severe isolation. Former inmates have described the experience as mentally taxing, with long stretches of time without human interaction. For a man who built his career on charisma and connection, the loneliness must be overwhelming. Sources close to the family say that Diddy's daughters are struggling to accept the reality of their father spending the holidays alone in a cold, sterile cell, far from the warmth and closeness of family gatherings.
He was I was 3 years old. I don't have a lot of memories of my father. They say, you can't miss something you never had. So that's only a little ways right, There's definitely been times as I've gotten older that I've missed my father.
The contrast between Diddy's once glamorous life and his harsh present couldn't be more jarring. Just months ago, he was enjoying a carefree afternoon in Central Park, playing hacky sack and basking in the admiration of his fans. Now, he wakes up each day on a steel bed in a cramped 8x10 cell, staring at cold cinder block walls and relying on a thin, 1.5-inch mattress for comfort. The man who once had the world at his feet is now confined to a space smaller than his walk-in closet, a reality that's just as shocking to his family as it is to his fans. The emotional toll has left Diddy's daughters grappling with a newfound uncertainty about everything they once admired in their father. Raised to see him as an unshakable symbol of strength and resilience, they are now forced to face his vulnerabilities. Sources close to the family say that the girls have been leaning heavily on each other for support, often breaking down in private as they try to process the gravity of their situation. Friends describe them as heartbroken but fiercely loyal, determined to stand by their father even as the world around them crumbles. Meanwhile, rumors of betrayal within the family have only deepened their emotional turmoil. Some relatives, particularly those less directly dependent on Diddy's wealth, are reportedly distancing themselves from the scandal, focusing more on protecting their own reputations than supporting him. This has led to tension in family discussions. Despite these divisions, the daughters are said to remain steadfast in their support of their father, even in the face of growing criticism from those who feel his legal troubles are too damaging to defend.
Thought Diddy would be throwing all his celebrity mates under the bus.
I mean, that could potentially be coming when it's time for court and when it's time for him to testify. But what we're seeing right now is how important public relations really are to Sean Combs. He's desperately trying to control the narrative behind bars, allowing his attorneys to do documentaries.
As the family navigates this emotional minefield, they are also facing the intense public scrutiny that comes with being tied to one of the most high-profile cases in recent history. Every move they make, every word they speak, is scrutinized by both the media and the public, adding yet another layer of pressure to an already overwhelming situation. Insiders report that Diddy's daughters have been particularly affected by the constant media coverage, feeling as though their private pain has been turned into a spectacle for the world to witness. Despite their efforts to present a united front, cracks are starting to show. The emotional toll of Diddy's incarceration combined with the pressure of public scrutiny and the rumored infighting over his assets, has created a perfect storm of tension and heartbreak. The once tight-knit family now finds itself at a crossroads, struggling to hold on to the bonds that have always defined them. As days turn into weeks and weeks into months, the question remains, how much longer can Diddy's family endure this ordeal? Will the daughter's unwavering loyalty be enough to keep them together? Or will the strain of their father's legal battles ultimately tear them apart? For now, they are clinging to hope, praying that the man they've always known as a fighter will find the strength to overcome the challenges ahead. But even as they hold onto that hope, the uncertainty of what lies ahead looms large. The toll of Diddy's incarceration is undeniable. And with his trial still months away, the family's emotional journey is far from over. As they brace for the next chapter, one thing is clear: Diddy's fall from grace is not just a story of legal battles and public scandal, it's a deeply human tale of love, loyalty, and the lengths a family will go to protect one of their own. Diddy's legal battle continues to intensify with each passing day, and the stakes are higher than ever. Despite the overwhelming obstacles, his legal team is working tirelessly to fight back against the allegations and the growing public scrutiny, but the road ahead is filled with complications, betrayals, and the weight of his legacy hanging in the balance as the courtroom drama unfolds. Diddy's fall from grace has sparked debates about power, privilege, and whether his empire can survive the storm. His legal team, made up of some of the most experienced attorneys in the country, has been relentless in challenging the prosecution's case. Yet the challenges they face are monumental. The charges against Diddy are not only shocking, they are strategically crafted to portray him as a calculated manipulator who wielded his influence over decades. The prosecution has described his alleged actions as systematic, claiming he used fear, coercion, and manipulation to achieve his goals. These accusations are not just about Diddy's conduct. They are about dismantling the image of a man who built himself into a global icon.
I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
Diddy's legal team has been quick to push back against the charges, labeling the case a witch hunt. They argue that the allegations are exaggerated and crafted to tarnish his reputation, rather than pursue justice. A source close to the team has claimed that much of the evidence presented is flimsy, relying heavily on hearsay. This isn't about truth. It's about sensationalism, the source said, suggesting that the prosecution is using Diddy's fame as a tool to undermine him. One of the most contentious aspects of the case has been the handling of evidence by the government. Diddy's defense team has consistently accused prosecutors of leaking information to the media, turning the case into what they call a trial by headlines. A key example of this was the alleged leak of surveillance footage, reportedly linked to Diddy's past actions. Although the court ultimately determined that there wasn't enough evidence to prove the leak came from the prosecution, the damage had already been done. The leaked footage fueled public speculation and made it even more difficult for Diddy's team to argue their case without facing a public bias.
Well, Sierra, anything's possible, right? But now this judge has an even harder time, I think, because the past judge locked him up, didn't let him out, and he's still there available for trial. If the new judge lets him out on bond and something goes wrong, and this isn't the analysis that I'm proud to make, right? We shouldn't be saying, well, judges are worried about their own skin and how they look if something bad happens.
Diddy's legal team has raised concerns about the motivations behind the allegations, pointing to the timing of the charges, and suggesting that some of his accusers may have ulterior motives, such as financial gain or a thirst for public attention. While these claims remain unverified, they add yet another layer of complexity to an already contentious case. What is undeniable, however, is that this has evolved into more than just a legal battle. It's a fight for public perception. Beyond the courtroom, the media frenzy surrounding the case has spiraled into a spectacle of its own. News outlets, blogs, and social media platforms have turned every new development into a story, picking apart Diddy's life with unrelenting scrutiny. From his courtroom appearances to the statements made by his legal team, every detail is being dissected and debated. While some fans continue to stand by him, others have turned their backs, calling it a reckoning that's long overdue. Adding to the pressure is the stark contrast between Diddy's former glamorous lifestyle and his current grim reality. Just a year ago, he was jet-setting between his Miami mansion and Los Angeles properties, hosting lavish parties with the biggest names in entertainment. Now, he's confined to a small, bleak cell in a detention center notorious for its brutal conditions. The man who once inspired millions with his resilience and ambition now finds himself fighting to prove his innocence while his empire teeters. on the edge of collapse under the weight of allegations that threaten to undo everything he's built. But Diddy isn't just fighting for himself, he's also fighting to protect his legacy. His brand, which spans music, fashion, and spirits, has long been synonymous with success and drive. Now, the name Diddy is tainted by controversy, and the empire he spent decades constructing is on increasingly unstable ground. Partners and investors are reportedly distancing themselves, wary of the reputational fallout that comes with his legal troubles.
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the shoe have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there.
Just months after his arrest, Diddy made the decision to step down as chairman of Revolt, the television network he co-founded. While his representatives maintained that it was a temporary move, insiders speculated that it was a strategic effort to protect the brand from the mounting controversy. Revolt issued a statement portraying the decision as one made to ensure the network remained focused on its core mission. However, industry experts couldn't ignore the timing. This wasn't just a small shift, it marked a significant blow to Diddy's influence. Revolt had been one of his proudest achievements, a platform he tirelessly promoted as a voice for the culture. Losing his leadership role at such a pivotal moment only deepened the sense that his empire was starting to unravel. On top of that, Diddy's legal troubles have begun to take a toll on his relationships within the industry. While some of his longtime allies have remained silent, others have subtly distanced themselves, offering no public support as the case continues to unfold. This lack of solidarity has sparked rumors of betrayal, with some insiders suggesting that business interests are now taking precedence over personal loyalty. A source close to the situation revealed that the phone calls have stopped coming, implying that many of Diddy's former friends and collaborators are opting to stay clear of the controversy.
Did in fact occur, their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in this conduct and being in those spaces, consuming alcohol and things of that nature.
Perhaps the most heartbreaking aspect of this entire saga is the toll it's taking on Diddy's family. While his daughters are undeniably struggling with their father's situation, his sons are facing their own emotional battles. King Combs, who has followed in his father's footsteps as a hip-hop artist, was recently photographed leaving the courthouse after a pre-trial conference. The look on his face said it all: part determination, part sorrow, and perhaps even a touch of disbelief. For a family that has long presented itself as strong and united, cracks are beginning to show, and the weight of this ordeal is becoming too much to ignore, even with the support of his family. Rumors continue to circulate that Diddy's inner circle is shrinking. Some speculate that his legal troubles have left him feeling increasingly isolated, with fewer people he can truly rely on. A former associate who once worked closely with him described the situation as a lonely fall from the top, adding, "When everything's going great, everyone wants to be around you, but when things go wrong, you start to realize who's really in your corner." As the trial date draws nearer, the pressure on all sides is mounting. Diddy's legal team is working tirelessly to craft a defense that can stand up to the prosecution's aggressive strategy. While the public's obsession with the case shows no signs of easing, every new development, no matter how small, is met with a whirlwind of reactions ranging from outrage to sympathy to outright disbelief. For Diddy, the stakes couldn't be higher. This is about more than just avoiding conviction, it's about holding on to the empire he's spent his entire life building. It's about proving to his family, his fans, and himself that he's more than the allegations against him. But with his reputation in tatters and his resources stretched thin, the question remains, can Diddy win this fight, or will this mark the end of an era?